to let in the Sega Master System owners, the previous generation Sega home console, into this Shinobi goodness and give them an exclusive title, Sega gave birth to Cyber Shinobi. A follow-up of the Shinobi port, of the initial Shinobi port on the Master System, Cyber Shinobi is regarded as the weakest entry in the whole series. It added a futuristic theme and featured Joe Musashi's grandson, Joe Musashi. Yeah, the grandson's name was Joe. You know how ninjas are with their Nimpo name tricks, trying to confuse you and shit.
Hello, my name is Joe. Good. And I work in a boxing factory. I have a dog, a house, and a family. One day, my boss, he said to me, "Are you busy, Joe?" I said no.
Anyway, the remnants of Zed rebranded to Cyber Zed. And here is Joe, ready to be Batman once again and put these Zed fuckers to rest. Their plan? To detonate stockpiles of plutonium they carefully stashed around the world. Cyber Joe will crusade through a construction site, a harbor, a heliport, forests and waterfall as he engages in sweet shuriken justice with Cyber Zed. Behind the waterfall, he discovers the Cyber Zed hideout and Cyber fucks them sideways. Now there were quite a few changes made to the original Shinobi formula. The game grew more complex, albeit a bit too complex for some people. Cyber Joe now makes primary use of his sword and low kick to dispatch foes from up close. There is also a hefty increase in the jumping ability. Also, as you can see, a shit ton of gauges in the screen. UI was cluttered as fuck. Firstly, is the life gauge nothing too weird here, it depletes as Cyber Joe takes damage. Still a departure from the previous Shinobi's one-hit gameplay. Ninjutsu is a tricky concept now. Just like in Revenge of the Shinobi, Joe can call on the fourth element as 4 distinct super abilities. Each ability requires a different amount of units to unleash though. This is an interesting resource management feature, as you can always use some sweet-ass ninja magic, even if you are low on ninjutsu. You can save up all the bar to unleash the strongest ninjutsu, Earth, it eats up 8 units. Or spam the weaker ones, like Fire, that take only 2 units, Wind, Fall, and Lightning 6. Now moving forward from the ninjutsu, now you have the shot gauge. This tracks your shuriken supply. However, if you find the shot power-up, you gain access to a shuriken launcher that holds 8 shots. If you don't deplete the shuriken launcher and you gain 1 more shot power-up, the launcher evolves into a Vulcan cannon with 8 more bullets. Upon gaining 1 more power-up, the Vulcan cannon is replaced by grenades, so all these sub-weapons hold 8 ammo, and when you use them up, it will revert to the previous sub-weapon until you are back at holding your dick. Complicated? A wee bit. The game reviews were fairly lukewarm. While undoubtedly a strong Master System entry, the game sort of pales in comparison to the entry. While the graphics were fairly good, the character feels sluggish. The music and the sound overall wasn't all that enticing, and the most important aspect, the gameplay, was not quite up to snuff. Still, by no means a bad game, Musashi forbid. It's just the people were spoiled by the Revenge of the Shinobi. Oh boy, Sega Game Gear, the direct competition to the insanely popular Game Boy. While still lurking in the shadows of Nintendo's juggernaut, Sega Game Gear for handheld has some pretty sweet hardware specs. And obviously enough, Sega made sure to include one of their most successful franchises on their struggling handheld to bring some of that sweet first-party exclusivity up in this pitch. so they spared no effort in creating a Shinobi game. Art-wise, scaled down just enough to fit the specs, but of an increase of scope and gameplay features. They brought in their development heavy hitters to make this happen, entering GG Shinobi in 1990. Oh, this motherfucker. Yuzo Koshiro returned once again to write the music. The game featured Joe Musashi, the one and only, and 4 others nameless ninjas sent out to investigate this rising power of evil in Neo City, led by the evil Master. Master. Just like that. The Master, being an evil mastermind, don't like the prospect of having ninjas up in his bitch, so he captures 4 of the Oboro clan ninjas and spirits them away. This proved to be a complete brain fart, as Joe, the red ninja, returning to the Ninja Valley, finds out that his beer buddies have been captured.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you are looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
And in true Taken fashion, he goes to Neo City to get his buddies rescued and break the Master and his kitchen sink. That's a dodgy Minion pun. Never mind. Gameplay-wise, a lot changed. The designers took cues from Mega Man, and that's a good thing. In essence, you start playing with the red ninja who can slash things with his sword.
Ninja To.
And there are 4 stages which you can play in any order, at the end of which being a boss guarding a fellow ninja. And it doesn't end here. When you rescue a fellow ninja, you sort of get him into your party while you only play one at a time. You can switch between your ninjas whenever you want from the pause menu. Each ninja has their own weapons, ability and ninjutsu. You can switch them on the go and make use of their abilities as the situation calls it, or if you want to get creative. All the 4 initial levels are perfectly doable with only the red ninja, Joe. But the other ninjas can be extremely useful for faster completion or finding alternative routes. This is exactly what you're thinking of. It's a glorious threesome between Shinobi, Power Rangers and Mega Man. I'd watch the shit out of that. Just saying. Let's talk about their powers. Joe uses his sword and is quite a defensive weapon when you're surrounded. He can also summon earthquakes that can clear rocks out of the way. Classic case of badassery. Now Pink, who uses a normal detergent, throws bombs. Big ass, powerful bombs. The short range makes out for the big radius. This fucker can also cling to the ceiling and crawl around like Spider-Man. Insanely useful when the floor is tired of your shit. And activating his ninjutsu, Pink can unleash a beam of searing light, illuminating dark areas and stunning the enemies. Blue. Now, Blue is all sorts of fucking badass. Firstly, he wields the most ninja weapon in the history of ninja weapons, the Kusari Gama, which is basically a sickle attached to a chain with a weighty end.
Sarigama.
Great range. His ability, like Pink has the ability to cling on walls, is to attach his Kusari Gama and swing up in this bitch like a Tarzan Smurf from hell. And he's not done. He has the most badass, amazing ninjutsu abilities in video game history. He engulfs himself into a tornado, becomes invincible, and flies wherever he pleases with little fucks to give about level design and layout progression. Yellow. Now, Yellow is not as amazing as the other ferrets. He shoots a weak projectile as a weapon that doesn't kill in one hit, but you can charge it to deliver a meaner punch, so it's contextual. His ninjutsu conjures a shield that absorbs hits, like Ikazuchi's technique in The Revenge of Shinobi. His ability though is to cosplay Jesus and walk on water. Ninja Jesus myth confirmed. And lastly, Green. He also fires a projectile, but unlike the Yellow's pussy-ass pea shooter, Green packs quite a punch.
Shuriken.
This guy can double jump, which is insanely useful, and in mid-air can rain down 5 shurikens in a deadly arc of badassery. Just like Joe in Revenge of Shinobi. To counter his sheer awesomeness, he has the weirdest and useless ninjutsu, effectively blowing himself up in true ninjinjutsu fashion while kills everything on the screen. While this is all good and Jesus-like, in theory, it takes away all the remaining ninja arts that you painfully discovered and hoarded. You can hoard up to 9, by the way. And also one of your super pressure extra life. So use it caution. Preferably don't use it at all. So these are the 5 ninja rangers. At the end of each of the 4 levels you will fight them as they are ninja brainwashed. There's a spell on them. Once you are in full formation, you can take it up with the Master, the Robot Ninja Boss, and some variations of your fellow ninjas in a showdown of biblical proportions. Needless to say that this game sold like cupcakes, and despite its relentless difficulty, Retro Gamer calls it a classic slice of ninja heaven. For it was difficult. 1 year later, Sega released the sequel of the Power Ninjas, good game Shinobi 2, The Silent fucking Fury. A worthy sequel that did little to improve on the previous iteration's formula. The 5 ninjas are back, their ability more or less the same, tweaked, but this time Joe is tasked with the mission of retrieving the 5 elemental crystals that were stolen by his bitch-ass enemy. His brethren again were lured and trapped at the location of these crystals, each corresponding to their element and color. So once again, it's up to Joe to unfuck the whole situation. The chief difference is that now, in order to reach the crystal location, you will need the ability of that specific ninja, which means you will have to replay through the levels when that ninja is acquired. But heck, a little backtracking didn't hurt anyone, and definitely didn't hurt the sales. Once the boy band is reunited, you go on tour on the last level, which is, take my word for it, is a fuckfest of Lovecraftian proportions. Melting floors, lava drips from the ceiling, no floors, enemies everywhere, all sorts of traps, tough enemies. Man, this is the most difficult thing I have played in my life. The last boss is just as painful. You will need to switch between those ninjas like it is second nature in this butt-clenching experience. The critics loved it, called it the reason to own a Game Gear. They praised the difficulty balancing and everyone replaced their Power Ranger helmets with ninja head wraps at the cosplay conventions.